Meet me at Waldenbooks. This is the focus group.
They're all business, except when they're not. It's the focus group with Tim Bennett and John Nash.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the focus group. Tim Bennett, as always, with my good friend and co-host, Mr. John T. Nash. We are the focus group, and that little tease about Waldenbooks. I used to work at Waldenbooks, and John and I would often say, "Meet me at Waldenbooks." We would. So
Tim, do you remember the name of the record store that was three down from you? What was it? Record World.
Record World.
Was it Laura Deschenko who worked there?
Laura Deschenko worked there, and I was at Waldenbooks, and there was somebody at the G Fox in the corner that sold Pierre Cardin. And then there was the Tom Kinney shoes. But we're going to be doing in Shop Talk, we're going to do a story about kind of defunct retailers, particularly from the 90s. So Waldenbooks was one of them. So I laughed when I read through the list, but we'll cover that later on in the show. But yeah, Laura Deschenko, and I still remember to this day, there was, and I forget the manager's name. He was a shorter guy with a mustache.
At Record World.
At Record World. And of all things, Record World did not have a record player.
No, so, I remember this. I do remember this.
So we had one at the bookstore, which people would complain about all the time was too loud. And we'd put the records on, and people, that music's too loud. She goes, "Isn't it horrible? The volume button's broke." It wasn't broken. So
who was that manager again?
Linda Hodson. She goes, "You're going to learn something here at retail. The customer's never right." So
even though we're being told constantly, customer's always right.
Oh, she was constantly sending customers on wild goose chase. "Do you have luggage tags?" "Oh, yes, all the way in the back to the left." "Linda, we don't have luggage tags." "I know. And if you're stupid enough to come into a bookstore looking for luggage tags, I'm going to send you looking for them." So I was like, okay. But anyway, he said, "Oh my God, I've got this 45. You've never heard anything like it before in your life. I want you to play it and play it for me." And it was the B-52's Rock Lobster.
Was that the first time you ever heard it?
Yeah.
Possibly.
He said, "You're not going to." It definitely was. It had just come out, and he was so excited, but they couldn't play it because so he comes running over into the bookstore and says, "Can you play this record for me?" And we all just thought it was great. And there goes my love affair of the B-52s at the Waldenbooks.
Started right there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, all this, I went through that plaza just recently in Southbury.
All changed, right?
Well, it's all changed, but at the time it was pretty, I guess we should have seen it coming as those towns have changed and grown. But I didn't think about it at the time. There was a couple of smaller independent bookstores, maybe in Washington Depot, or there was one over in Heritage Village. But people would come in, Rex Reed would come in there often, Diane von Furstenberg, Robert Redford. Who's the guy who played Mrs. Doubtfire?
Robin Williams.
No, not him. Who am I
Pierce
getting
Brosnan?
wrong then? No, he lived in Roxbury. Famous.
Harvey Fierstein?
Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, that's Tootsie.
Yeah, whatever.
Same idea. Someone dressing up. Well, one was an old woman, one was a soap star. Yeah.
But Dustin Hoffman was in there, and Rex Reed probably the most, and then other people would filter through. Probably 90% I didn't know or recognize, but so because we were the only bookstore, so people would come there to shop. But fun job, made $3.10 an hour.
Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. $3, and I was working at Marshall's at the time, I think, right?
Marshall's, brand names for less.
Yeah.
So, other than that, Mr. Nash, what caught your eye this week?
What caught your eye? Here's what Tim and John found.
Well, it's funny that we're talking about analog stuff, because what caught my eye is definitely analog. And if you're following along on the video, if you're watching YouTube, I've just put up a picture of something. It's called the Photobooth Museum, New York City's first Photobooth Museum, and it's down on Orchard Street. And it caught my eye because I love these things. And so here it is. It says, shortly, so 7 fully restored vintage photo booths have taken up residence inside the 121 Orchard Street venue, each one ready to snap your photo. It's a very rare collection. Fewer than 300 working analog photo booths exist across the globe. I mean, not just the country. Photo, the city's first photo booth museum, has quickly become one of the coolest things to do on the coolest street in New York City. Now, I'm going to take umbrage with Orchard Street being the coolest street. There are many cool streets in the city, but anyway. So a woman named Bree Conley Saxon, who after earning her photography degree, stumbled upon an analog photo booth in an Alabama thrift store for just $200. Now, analog meaning it's the kind you would go in, it would tell you, it would do the countdown, the light would flash, then a strip of these things would come out, right?
You sit on the Formica bench. Yeah.
Or the fold down, and then there's a little curtain. Intrigued by the darkroom technology she loved, she found a mentor to help her refurbish the booth. It took 10 years. But that was only the beginning for Saxon, who became enamored with the technology and doesn't want it to fade away. She said that the art is dying. It seemed like it was only older men who were gatekeeping and not sharing this technology. So she went about the process of collecting a bunch of these. So when you see a photo booth anywhere else these days, they're digital. You could be in a museum or something, and it will do, it's the same, it will act the same, but what comes out is kind of like a digital print. She thought that the idea that she had with this thing is she liked the idea of the old strip of photos. So there's a little museum attached to this auto photo museum at 121 Orchard Street as well. And it says here, of course, it's fun learning about photo booths, but it's even more fun to climb inside and snap some pics. The booths that are there include the Model 12, a 1959 invention with a unique larger frame format than its predecessors. There's also the Model 17, a popular booth from the 60s to the 80s that made it a landmark in photo booth history for its color photo capabilities, because, you know, some of these were color, black and white.
Right.
And don't miss the Polaroid booth from 1993. Unlike traditional dip and dunk photo booths, and that dipping and dunking refers to the darkroom process of getting your pictures, this machine was developed to use Polaroid's instant film. Photos range from $8 to $12 per booth, $8 to $12 per booth. It's free to enter the space. So basically, if you're in New York, folks, and you're there for a little bit of time, check out Auto Photo, 121 Orchard Street, and have a traditional strip of photo. You know how it used to come down and drop into a little tray?
Yeah, so did she have to find, she had to source, I think the bigger issue would be sourcing the film, wouldn't it?
Yes.
For those
so Kodak
machines?
does still make print film, and it does still make negative film, very small quantities, because the folks that are using it are very dedicated, but it's a small group compared to what we were doing when we were kids.
It's like vinyl records.
Stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the hardest thing that she had to source from other parts of the article was the paper, the photographic paper that is used to capture the image. But I am definitely planning to go down there and do this. I think it's a riot.
You'd go down there? You'd go do it?
Yes, in a heartbeat. And that's why it caught my eye, because the last time Bob and I did a photo booth, we were at a wedding in San Diego, and they had a digital thing set up.
Right.
You know, and you would pose, and it would do the same thing where it did the countdown, but it was in front of a background. And then you had to plug in your email address or your phone, and it would text you the photos. And they're great, but they're digital. There's something about getting that strip of images out that you could just hand to somebody or cut them. You know what I'm talking about, cut them up. So that was what caught my eye this week.
That's great. Mine is very different. Is vastly different. It came from the New York Times, and it says, like fancy toilets? You'll love the sound of this. So, you know, if you go into any public restroom to lay down the law, you know, sometimes people get embarrassed about the sounds, you know, the call to nature. But so people will do courtesy flushing to mask the noises, or cough, or try to figure out run water, try to figure out ways to mask the sounds.
You don't want to be the one exploding on the bowl, right?
Exactly. So they said, so this article talks about, they said the Japanese have good manners. They believe in keeping their personal sounds personal. So instead of an awkward cough or fake flushes, you get a nice melody. You'll get a nice melody or soothing sound of nature. It's both polite and ridiculously funny when you think about it. Imagine somebody pressing a button and suddenly it's like you're in a rainforest. So this spreading trend of Japanese toilets that come with sound machines which are installed to mask, shall we say, natural noises, is catching on. Initially, it started with women, and I guess women being more demure as a gender. And while they understood the issue of flushing the toilet to mask the sound, they weren't so concerned about that as the Japanese were about water shortage and the shortage of water. So they said that.
Oh, so in other words, the courtesy flush, that was all a waste of water, right?
Right. And they said what happened is they said these sound devices have been standard in Japanese ladies' rooms for years, not only to conceal unwanted sounds, but also conserving water. They did a survey in 2016 and found that women flushed an average of 2.3 times without a sound device, and with a sound device only a little over than 1.5 times. And so these sound devices right next to the toilet, and if you're watching the video, there's also buttons on the wall, but you can push the sound of a toilet flushing, which is generally what they did. Of course, some kids...
So Tim, if you are watching, there's a picture of the magical toilet, but then on the wall, there's these like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... So those are actually just making noise. They're not actually doing anything to the toilet, right?
There's a speaker system, right? There's a speaker system in the bathroom, and you push that and go, so you can sit there and hit it. And then they decided to do Babbling Brook. Somebody from Toto Toilets went out to find the perfect sounding stream, and Babbling Brook and running water. So they have that now that they've introduced. But all the different, Toto's the big toilet company in Japan, but there's a number of others that are doing what they call, I'll say it wrong, otohime or otohime, whatever it is. I'm butchering the Japanese, but essentially it's this kind of making natural sounds or whatever to soothe you and create a ambient din of either rushing water or something. Of course, a lot of this being electronic, kids have figured out how to hack into these things. So there's been some people. So there's two other things in this article that made me laugh. One of them is, for some reason, there's a huge interest with the trans community for this. I don't know why, and they didn't say why. They just said that seems to be who's really got attracted to this technology, I guess, for lack of a better word. And it's going into men's rooms now and going into other public venues. And so it's not just for women anymore, but these kids have been able to program some of these sounds. So instead of the Babbling Brook, it'll be somebody's got the rousing theme from a popular samurai TV drama. Somebody had done Bombs Away, some song Bombs Away with artillery fire. Someone did Beethoven's Fifth, da 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 da, boom. Someone did the William Tell Overture. So they're trying to figure out how to make it so that somebody can't go in and hijack these sounds. But essentially, they're hoping. There's a woman in Australia that visited, and then she ended up living in Japan for a while. She's trying to bring this technology back to Australia and thinks it needs to spread around the world. I don't disagree.
I agree. Yeah.
They said that this has the Japanese have always had a concern about masking sounds and toilet noise in the bathrooms all the way back to 1799. They used to have bronze urns installed in bathrooms that you could pour and it would swish and make a whirling sound of water. And people used them back then. And so now they're also adding deodorizers. They're adding deodorizers immediately. As soon as you walk into the room, there would be a spray of deodorizer, and then the music and the babbling brooks and the streams and caves, rivers, swells, waterfalls, all kinds of stuff. So I thought it's a pretty cool idea. I know I've been in bathrooms where people are always doing the courtesy flush. And I purposely, if I see some moron, and this happens more time than not, you stop at a rest stop, or I'd be at Costco, and someone's inevitably on their phone in either the booth, either the stall, or standing at the urinal. And I'll purposely hit the thing to make it sound like hear the toilet flush, so that the person on the other end knows they're in the bathroom, calling them from the bathroom. I'll hit it all the time.
It's a different version of photo bombing. You're toilet bombing. Yeah.
Yeah. So would you get one of these toilets, John? You don't need it for the house, I don't think.
Not for the home, but I am intrigued by the fact in public places. I was in Italy this past September for a bike trip. One of the things I always marvel at with Europe, though, is the bathrooms.
Yes.
It's often floor to ceiling doors.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? I
don't know. Clearly it works over there, and I don't know why it doesn't work over here. But here in the States, though, like I'll go to the gym sometime, and I was I was going to go after I changed to work out. I go to the bathroom, and there's some guy like coughing and hacking, and and then you hear him like drop a deuce or whatever. He was laying down the law, and I'm thinking to myself, God bless him, because if I couldn't make those noises, but people do what they do, right?
A friend of ours that we know, I won't mention his name, but he said he would go in there with the newspaper and just rustle the newspaper. But I've never been good at doing number two publicly.
No,
no. And so I used to struggle with that. I struggled with that in college. I struggled with that. So I was happy when I finally had a room. I had my room senior year with my own bathroom.
Yeah, that's right.
Great.
Were you house?
I was the house mother.
Yeah, okay.
Or head resident, as you would call it.
And here's a question for you. And you and I have never talked about this before. Have you ever done number two on a plane?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I have not.
Yeah. When you're in 14 hours, 15 hours.
You have to.
To Japan, you have to. One time, you're talking about poo-poo caca, we had flown, and I'll have to tell you his name offline because he probably listens. We were flying to Europe, and we got to Europe, and we had to spend the whole day. We were in meetings, whatever, and this one guy needed to use the bathroom, number two. And the bathroom was right off the conference room we were in. And he had no pride. He went right in, but boom! And we could hear it going. And he comes out, and everybody's just sitting there dead quiet because we all heard all the noises, whatever. He goes, "Hey, it's been a long day. You got to go. You got to go. Don't ever hold it in. It's dangerous."
It's
what I miss.
Dangerous.
Right. What I miss.
What I miss. Hey,
yeah.
He owned it. What I miss.
He owned it.
Right. He owned it. Yeah.
And I said to him, the guy with the squirrel, so you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, that's a good one then. Okay.
But he would always say, he said, I learned, he was an Olympian, a former Olympian for the Olympic team. He said, I learned in all my international travel, when you got to go, you go. Don't hold it in. I said, okay, I get it.
He's right about that. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
So that's enough. What you used to call it? Caca poo poo talk?
Well, my mom and dad used to call it Tinky Poo Poo Bum Bum.
Yeah. So that was our Tinky Boom Boom Bum Bum segment.
Tinky Poo Poo Bum Bum.
Bum Bum.
Oh, you kids, you only laugh at Tinky Poo Poo Bum Bum jokes.
That's everybody does, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, hey, many of you know that one of our partners here on the focus group is Deep Discount, and they've got some last minute gift ideas right now. It's still time for you to shop away and find that perfect gift for somebody or for yourself. So you can own your passion by going to focusgroupradio.com and clicking on the Deep Discount logo. And as we said, there's some last minute gift ideas. Our last minute gifts sale going on right now. So Mr. Nash, what did you find this week?
I think that we may be in a Criterion Collection trifecta quite by accident, actually. I mean, because, hey, look, Criterion's the standard, but I picked a movie. It's a concert. It's a movie of a concert, and it's called David Byrne's American Utopia, available on the Criterion Collection on 4K Ultra HD. And this is a concert film based on David Byrne's really, like, it was on a Broadway show. It actually got extended a number of times, and strangely, as I picked this, I remember that this was the last show I saw on Broadway before the world shut down for the pandemic, which is weird. But here's the description. David Byrne meets America's fractious political moment with the transcendent power of song in this ecstatic documentary of the Broadway adaptation of his acclaimed American Utopia tour. Captured with immersive immediacy by director Spike Lee, so there you go. This uplifting spectacle interweaves 21 songs, both new and classic, with Byrne's singular observations on the state of the nation, its perils, promises, and possibility for transformation. So when we saw this on Broadway, we were actually up on one of the balconies looking down, which was actually a really great place to be. But a lot of the music you would recognize. And if you loved Stop Making Sense, which there's a wonderful concert movie of that, right. I think you'll enjoy David Byrne's American Utopia. And again, that's from the Criterion Collection, and is available on 4K Ultra HD and also, I believe, Blu-ray.
Did they just stop making Sense at the Sphere out in Vegas? Oh,
God. Could you imagine if they did? You mean showing that movie?
Yeah, I thought somebody said they made it.
Oh,
that
would be... I would pay money to see that because I loved that concert. And I saw it,
Yeah.
I think you did. Did you see it in real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in real life, quote unquote. But I love the Talking Heads, and I know you had a good time at the Broadway show. I picked something that also from the Criterion Collection on Blu-ray. It's called Something Wild, and it came out in 1986 originally, but it totally missed me. Were you familiar with this movie at all?
Yeah.
You were?
It's Jeff Daniels, Melanie Griffith, Ray Liotta. This is a classic, and that's actually why it's on the Criterion Collection, I think, right?
Yeah, and a
Jonathan Demme film.
Yes, and John Waters shows up. There's only it only made about 8.2 million in gross.
Oh, it was totally like a art house hit, Tim. Yeah.
Right. And so I'll read you the description because it does a better job than what I could stumble through. It says a straight-laced businessman meets a quirky, free-spirited woman at a downtown New York greasy spoon. Her offer of a ride back to his office results in a lunchtime motel rendezvous, which is just the beginning of this capricious interstate road trip that brings the two face-to-face with their hidden selves. Features a killer soundtrack and electric performances by Jeff Daniels, Melanie Griffith, and Ray Liotta. Directed by oddball American director Jonathan Demme. They said it's both a comic thriller and a radiantly off-kilter love story. And I also checked out the soundtrack. It's got a very funky 80s reggae soundtrack, which
do you think it's a little
is also quite good?
New wave and reggae mixed in?
I would say a little more. reggae, yeah,
okay.
than new wave. But it's definitely an 80s. There's some other 80s songs. They'd be D-sides. They wouldn't even be B-sides. Yep. Some of the stuff that was on there. There's a couple of things that people would recognize. But I think New Order has a song on there, and not the general public, but there's another group similar to them that has a song there. But it's on Blu-ray. It's under $30, and I just thought it's something that I missed. 1986.
I think you'll definitely enjoy it, Tim. It is definitely a film up your alley. It's a good pick. It's a really good pick.
So it's
all right. We do have a new release this week, and this is totally. Thank you, Lauren, a deep discount for this one, because this is totally up our alley. In fact, last year on our Christmas show, the week of Christmas, we did this whole thing about Pee-wee's Big Adventure, all the little backstory stuff about, I'm sorry, not the Big Adventure, his Christmas special. And the new release this week is Pee-wee's Big Adventure on the Criterion Collection, 4K Ultra HD. It's $38.99, has a great cover. And for me, like, I know there was a Big Top Pee-wee and there's some other stuff that happened afterwards, but this one, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, is the one we watched in the movie theater and paid attention to. So it's billed as one of the most eccentric comedies of the 1980s. Pee-wee's Big Adventure is a pop culture touchstone that helped make a manic oddball named Pee-wee Herman, the creation and alter ego of actor-comedian Paul Reubens, into an icon for outsiders of all ages. This film is directed by Tim Burton. Eye-popping visual sense is already on full display. It's his first feature film, actually, following the gleefully irreverent Pee-wee as he embarks on a very simple journey, a road trip to recover his beloved stolen bike. So there, as with all Criterion discs, there's some wonderful audio commentary included. There's a couple of behind-the-scenes making of, but it's really the ability to watch the movie with some of these incredible voices telling you what was going on when they were filming it. And the score was done by Danny Elfman, a longtime co-collaborator of Tim Burton. So that is our new release this week. And to recap, it's the last minute sale. You still have time, folks. Deep discount can get this stuff to you before Christmas. I picked David Byrne's American Utopia. And Tim, you picked
Something Wild.
Something Wild, which is... he'll enjoy it. It's Criterion. And the new release this week is Pee-wee's Big Adventure from the Criterion Collection. So quite accidentally, folks, we gave you a Criterion trifecta, and they're all great movies. We are going to take a very quick break, and when we return, we have a shop talk. And as Tim said at the beginning of the show, our shop talk, our business birthday, and our shop talk looks at brands from the 90s. You'll remember them. They're not around anymore, but you'll remember them. So stay with us.
You're listening to The Focus Group with Tim and John. Learn more at focusgroupradio.com. Now back to The Focus Group with Tim and John. Available pretty much everywhere.
Hello, welcome back to The Focus Group. Tim Bennett here with John Nash. And now for one of our signature segments of the show, our business birthday.
Everyone does celebrity birthday greetings, but The Focus Group is the only show in the universe that celebrates business birthdays.
So celebrating today, December 17th, born in 1954, he's 71. Happy 71st birthday to Kenneth Carlton Frazier, an American business executive. He was executive chairman and former CEO of the pharmaceutical company Merck. And he had initially joined Merck Pharma as general counsel. And he worked on trying to litigate over the drug Vioxx. If you remember the drug Vioxx, which was an anti-inflammatory.
My God, Tim, I haven't heard that. Wow. How old is that? How far back does that go?
From the 90s.
Okay.
And they just settled recently. I'll get to it later. In 2007 was they finally settled. But it had been going on since the 90s. And into the early 2000s. And the liability range was somewhere in the 20 to 50 billion range.
Wow.
And he had said it was the most significant challenge he'd ever faced because he was the head person to litigate against all these lawsuits about Vioxx. And but he did a good job. They said the remaining cases were settled for about 4.8 billion. I guess it's better than 50 billion. And so he was he was eventually made CEO, but he started out, grew up in Philadelphia. His mom died when he was quite young. His dad was a janitor. And as I said, his mom died when he was 12. He went to a local charter school, graduated at age 16, went off to Penn State to make money while he was in college. He'd raised tadpoles and salamanders and sold them to local stores. That's an odd thing, wasn't it?
I'm looking at his picture, and I don't see him as a tadpole and salamander
seller. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he does have the look and the demeanor of a general counsel. I'm not sure about that other thing, but.
So he enrolled at Harvard Law right out of Penn State and got his JD in 1978. After he graduated Harvard, he headed over to Philadelphia to one of the top law firms, Drinker Biddle, which anyone who knows law firms knows that they're a big one. He was there. One of the first cases they gave him was some guy that was from Alabama on death row for 19 years. And he dug into it and was able to retry the case and actually got the guy off of death row and found not guilty. And so from there, he was moved on to one of their big clients, Merck. And this was in 1992. And as I said, he defended them with the Vioxx lawsuits and then ended up promoted to an EVP. And in 2010, he was made president. And he was the first African-American ever to lead a major pharmaceutical company. He was part of the Fortune 500. So it's certainly a huge achievement for anybody, let alone it was, he had the kind of the weight of the shoulders also of being the first African-American. You often hear Barack Obama talk about that as president. Not only president, but being the first African-American. A couple of things that he was known for. He insisted when he became head of Merck, he directed the company to take financial risks in developing new treatments. He thought sometimes they prioritized research funding over meeting earnings targets. And he felt it would be great to emphasize more on treatments and more on research instead of worrying about the a target price, because he felt that was I don't want to say more altruistic, but it's certainly more of a social statement. He also placed a special emphasis on improving treatments for Alzheimer's disease. His father died of Alzheimer's, and he said he was motivated at Merck's desire to improve the lives of people also in developing countries. He certainly got paid well.
That was going to be my next question.
Do you want to guess what his annual compensation was in his last 3 or 4 years each year?
Oh, he's got to be in the 10 to 15 million range.
He made $21.3 million each year. It's a tough gig. Yeah.
You and I would quit after 1 year, right?
He had a pension plan valued at $26.5 million. And he sold stock. The stock that he sold was worth $110 million. Jeez. Of the stock shares he got. And he announced in 2021 that he'd be retiring. And he retired at the end of June in 2021. He's also on a bunch of boards right now. He also was not mixed up, but he was head of the trustees at Penn State, and particularly the group that was trying to handle the child sex abuse scandal with Jerry Sandusky.
Oh my God, that another one that goes back a ways, yeah.
Yeah, and there was lots of infighting there, and but he was able to get through that, and so it talks about that as being another defining moment in his career and things that were difficult to handle. But he said the writing was on the wall there, and he had to convince everybody else that the writing was on the wall
and that you could actually read it. Yeah,
yeah, and. So he said he was initially President Trump in his first term had asked him to be part of the American Manufacturing Council. And so he initially said yes, although he was not a supporter necessarily of Trump. And because he supported Biden, he supported Hillary, he supported Kamala Harris. He said and Obama. He had so he was on this Manufacturing Council, and he said that once the incident happened at the Unite the Right rally in Virginia, in Charlottesville, he immediately resigned. He said that America's leaders must, in his statement to Trump and when he resigned, was America's leaders must honor our fundamental views by clearly rejecting expressions of hatred, bigotry, and group supremacy, which run counter to the American ideal that all of us are created equal. And so he resigned from that council. And he and his wife just recently donated to the Jefferson Health System in Philadelphia and Temple University a new stroke initiative targeting the African American communities to study strokes
that usually have a higher incidence of that.
Yes, yeah. And so, so he's been quite philanthropic, and lives in the Philadelphia area. And I didn't know much about him, but seemed to have quite a career.
There's a lot of professionals that they work in these great companies, they work with great teams, they have great people around them that we don't know about per se.
Yeah.
And I think that little tidbit where he immediately resigned after that, lots of decent people on both sides bullshit in Charlotte. I mean, let's call it what it is. The reality, he didn't fall prey to the distortion field, right? Oh no,
he didn't have to insult Trump or anything, but just essentially said that leadership, a good leader in this country honors the fact that we're all created. We all strive to be created equal. I mean, that's the hope
if you
of
believe
America.
That's what America stands for.
The promise of America, right?
Yeah, and I'm not sure that the promise of America for some people is what you and I and he thinks, but
yeah.
But a good business birthday, and it's a modern one too, right?
Yes, it's a modern one. It was. Again, it was these last 2 weeks with business birthdays have been a little bit tough.
A little dry.
To find someone. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it, Mr. Nash.
Dry spell.
Hey, when we opened up this show, I teased about Meet Me at Waldenbooks, and John had found this article, and the headline is "All of Your Favorite 90s Stores That No Longer Exist." And it talked about the good old days of going to the mall, and particularly this time of year, you would go to do your holiday shopping and meet friends at the mall, or if you're home from school, you would meet at the mall, and the mall was kind of a gathering place or community center. So tragically, many of the era's most popular and iconic stores are out of business now. So in this article, they rounded them up and to take us on a little ride of nostalgia. And it was funny when I looked at this list, and we'll go through some of them. Is there anything on this list that you really miss?
You bring up a really funny point about this, because as I was scrolling through, I said to myself, I didn't even go to some of these stores when they were open. I would say the exception might be B. Dalton as a competitor to Waldenbooks.
Yeah.
And then there was Borders as well, another bookstore. But no, and you know, actually, I have a fondness for Toys R Us from being a kid.
Right.
And Child World, which is long gone. But for us as shoppers, no, many of these stores that I'm scrolling through now were really just not places we visited. And even something like the Virgin Megastores, we would prefer to go to Tower Records. Neither of them exist anymore, but you know.
No. And did you go to Blockbuster? Were you one of those people who go rent at Blockbuster?
Well, okay, so Blockbuster is the first on the list here of these 90 stores that no longer exist. And yes, we did go to Blockbuster if we had to. But normally in the city, when I first moved to Manhattan, there were a lot of local video stores that weren't Blockbuster.
Right.
That you could get DVD. Well, at the time it was
just
VHS.
in the neighborhood. Right.
Yeah. So that's the first one. The next one here is Sports Authority. And what did you say? This has been sort of replaced by Dick's Sporting Goods or other store?
Yeah, or online shopping, right?
Yeah,
the Sports Authority. You go get your hockey stick or your jock strap or whatever.
Did you shop there when they were around?
I might have gotten a pair of shorts, but it wasn't a destination.
No,
certainly wasn't a
good way of putting it. Really good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, there was Wicks and Sticks, which I never really even heard of.
That's a mall store. That was a mall store. Yeah.
The Art of Shaving, which I didn't know that they went out of business. So,
but see, and therein lies the interesting problem here. Some people might not even know they were in business. Right?
Yeah.
Here's one that I did sort of regret losing: Radio Shack. If you ever needed a cable, or a unique battery or anything like that. And when I was a kid, I went to Radio Shack a lot because we would be building things or doing, I remember when they first came out with little LED lights. I was like fascinated by that, but they're gone now too. Who's the next one here?
Well, and their help was also well trained. So
that's
you
actually
go in
true,
there
Tim.
also.
They had good help. They had good help.
Yeah, and you could say, I'm trying to do this or I'm trying to connect that, and they would be able to help you. Sam Goody, again, another records, tapes, whatever you were buying at the time, DVDs. But I'm with you. If I was buying anything like that, it was usually Tower Records.
Tower Records, yeah. And that's a brand loyalty thing here.
Yeah.
This next one here is something called the Bon-Ton. And it says here, I have a vague memory of being dragged here by my mother, but pretty sure I've managed to repress it. What was Bon-Ton?
I think it was like a department store.
Yeah.
Another one I don't know of, Stephen Barry's, never heard of it.
That was specifically for baseball or tees and college, like hoodies and gear like that, right?
Yeah, never heard of it.
Another one here called Wet Seal. Wet Seal clientele included everything from kids in Middle America who wanted to dress like they were from the 90s teen show. So Wet Seal must have been one of those mall brands that you and I... Did you have any...
My nieces, I think my nieces initially liked it, but it was like a Pac Sun for girls, I think.
Or an early Forever 21 maybe, or something like that.
Yeah. Zany Brainy was one that I would go to try to find things for
unique,
maybe friends, kids, right? And Zany Brainy was founded by the guys who have now founded Five Below. After Zany Brainy got sold, and they went and it spent about 5 years and came up with a concept of Five Below. So it's the same team that did that.
Interesting. That's a good little nuance there, Tim. I didn't realize that. The next one here is Filene's, not to be confused with Eileen Fisher, where your mom bought her linen pants, and who still gets beauty products at TJ Maxx. But I remember Filene's and Filene's Basement.
Filene's,
very much a mall store, yeah.
Yeah, and then Sleepy's Mattresses, the mattress store. I mean, how often are you buying a mattress?
Well, okay, it's a great question, A. And B, how many mattresses are they selling? You could buy the purple, you could buy something that comes in a box. And yeah, you're right. You only do this once every 10 or 15 years.
Maybe? Yeah. I guess it's like an appliance.
And if you go to buy one, they'll ask you how old your current one is, and they all look aghast, like, oh, you've been sleeping on it for 15 years. You're like, yeah, there are people that sleep on the floor. I mean, That's what happened. We went to Macy's to get our new one. They're like, you should always reply. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I did go to these stores and this was sort of like your zany brainy idea, the Discovery Channel store.
Yeah.
So it was picking up it was the brick and mortar version of the Discovery Channel, but you could get like science kits, dinosaurs, all that kind of stuff there.
And then CompUSA, where you could get not just a laptop, but also the internet. I don't think I ever went into a CompUSA. That would not have been
same here.
Destination for me. Also, Rave. I don't know what that is.
It looks like it's a cool kids store. And then, as I mentioned when we were talking about brands that I miss or stores that I miss, B. Dalton was a big presence. In fact, it was B. Dalton, Waldenbooks, Borders, and I'm not even sure there's anybody else, but that's where you went for your books.
Yeah, and I was more Borders than B. Dalton, but I'm surprised they just opened a huge Barnes & Noble down here. They are still, depending on where their stores are located, with foot traffic and stuff, they are still doing a good business, apparently. Yeah, and it was packed. I mean, they've opened one here, and it's. I was shocked. I went in, and I couldn't. Now, of course, I didn't have what I wanted, but so Thrifties. I don't know what that is.
And the guy who wrote the article says, and again, I honestly barely remember the store, but nevertheless, it persisted until, of course, it didn't. Everybody remembers Circuit City, right?
Yeah, you went in there. Well, you could also get discs. You know, they used to sell discs pretty cheap, but if you're going to get a radio and an alarm clock, maybe you go to Circuit City, I suppose.
Yeah. Toys R Us, enough said there. KB Toys, which was sort of I remember KB was the mall version. Toys R Us usually was its own thing, like its own standalone. KB was the mall version. I used to get my Estes rocket supplies at KB Toys in the Naugatuck Valley Mall.
There you go. Linens and Things, similar to a Bed Bath & Beyond. Yeah. They had gone out. The Limited, I thought the Limited was still around too.
Same here. This was a surprise to me, Tim. I was like, wait a minute. But I guess you and I are really behind the times here.
Well, I was trying to think the last time I wandered through a mall. Do you know when the last time was you were at a mall?
Yeah. When we were down at my niece's wedding in Maryland, we went to a mall. It was great. They had some really unusual stores because most of the stores had been empty. And I went to one that was a science fiction paraphernalia. They sold all kind of dolls and models. I bought a Star Trek doll there. But that was the last time I was in a mall. I mean, that's over a year ago. Year and a half, almost 2 years, yeah. Then there's this thing called Mervyn's. And it says here it was a small staple. I guess it was just a department store of some kind, right?
Yeah, it was like a Woolworth, I think.
Okay.
Then there's something called 579, which I never didn't quite know what that was. Sharper Image. I do remember Sharper Image going there to look similar to, why am I going to forget the name? There's a similar store to it in the malls still, I think. We would go buy trinkets and, God, why am I, it begins with a B.
Techie items, right?
Yeah, why am I forgetting the name
you think of Hammacher Schlemmer?
No.
Okay, that's a New York thing. And that,
God, I can't believe I can see it. I can see it perfectly. Well, and I would always buy Christmas gifts there. Yeah, I should look it up while we're on here.
Not Spencer Gifts or anything.
No,
okay.
No. I'll let you go through the list as I look it up here.
They listed here Virgin Megastore, which the Virgin Megastores I enjoyed. I preferred Tower Records, but Virgin actually did the same thing Tower did. They had the listening stations you could hear. And I often bought a lot of new music that way by listening to it first in the store. Woolworths, this was basically the original 5 and dime, meaning everything there was dirt cheap. And we all remember Woolworths, right? And then, Tim, they have one here called Gadzooks. This is the last one on the list here. It's where all your alternative friends who listen to Nirvana shopped. So I'm guessing there's rag T-shirts and I don't know, but did you find the other one you were thinking of?
No. And, you used to be able to buy massage chairs. It was like a Sharper Image. You could buy massage chairs. You could buy Bose speakers. You could buy a insulator for wine. There's a wine opener. I want to say it began with a B.
It did. It was called Brookstone.
Brookstone. That's God. I've it begins with a B. I'm sure our listeners are all screaming at me like a lunatic. Yeah. How did you find Brookstone?
I just went to Google and I typed in Sharper Image competitor, and it was on top of the list.
Well, there you go. Is Brookstone still around?
Let's see. It says here there's a site. There's a Brookstone official site. And Tim, you're going to love this. If you go to the Brookstone site, the first thing you see is one of these. It looks like some spaceship. It's a massage chair.
Yeah, the massage chairs. Everybody's setting them there.
Didn't you just say that you can get massage chairs?
Massage chairs or a wine over. It says Brookstone is still very much in business, but it's vastly different. They closed all mall stores after 2018 bankruptcies. They only focus on their website wholesale and airport locations, which are now run by Hudson. So it's
Hudson News.
Hudson News. They offer travel-focused gadgets and gear. So you won't find it anymore at your typical mall store, but you can still get unique electronics and travel items online or at the airport.
Online or at the airport. You get a massage chair.
No wonder why I haven't seen them.
Yeah, you haven't been flying lately, eh?
Can you pack that massage chair? I'll take it with me.
Can I get it? Can I carry it on? No, you can't.
Put it in the Boeing. I'm in the third Boeing on the left.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're delayed from takeoff. One of our passengers is having a chair put in the cargo hold. You look out the window to see the thing going in. Yeah, my God. Well, I see you learn something new every day. Like, isn't that funny? I always think that Tim has it's kind of like a database thing. He associates very specific things with store, like Brookstone. Once you hear the name, it was massage chairs. And I go to the page, and what is it? First thing I see but some elaborate cocoon massage chair. There you go, folks. Now we're going to wrap it up there. It's another focus group, and we're racing towards the holidays. Next week, we are going to have our show before the Christmas holiday. We want to thank you for joining us here, and thank, of course, our partner, Deep Discount. You can get there by going to our site, focusgroupradio.com, and click on the Deep Discount logo. It's a last-minute gift sale. You can still get stuff delivered on time. I picked a movie called David Byrne's American Utopia. It's a film based on his great Broadway show that toured for a while. Over 20 songs. It's like a concert video, actually. Tim picked a movie he has not seen. He's going to like it when he sees it. It's called Something Wild, directed by Jonathan Demme. And the new release this week is Pee-wee's Big Adventure. All three films I just mentioned available from the Criterion Collection. So it's like the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. This is a movie I need to watch. We want to remind everybody that holiday drivers are more distracted than normal. Boy, have I seen a couple. Thank God for rumble strips. Nice way of putting it. Thank God for the rumble strip. I see a car drifting over, it hits it, and then it goes right back into the lane. You're like, what were you doing? Playing tic-tac-toe? You're driving a car.
Wordle. Doing the Wordle.
So we always say, don't text and drive. Please arrive alive. And we're going to see you here next week on the Focus Group.
It's the Focus Group with Tim Bennett and John Nash. Accessible on all platforms. Subscribe, like, and rate us on your platform of choice. Learn more at focusgroupradio.com.
That was a stunning focus group.